Well, it's spring, and spring means a couple of things. Start of fishing season for a lot of people, but what it also means is big squid time. And down here in the southern states of Victoria, and for all over Australia for that matter of fact, you can catch squid everywhere, but spring is big squid time. And today we're just popping in here to Queenscliff to pick up my mate Luke, because he needs a feed of squid and I need some squid for bait for over the coming weeks. So we'll just pop in here, pick him up and get moving. We're going to show you a few things along the way, and the quest for today is to find a big squid. That is the plan. Hey mate.
Morning mate, how are we?
Good, how are you?
Good. Ready to go?
I am about as ready as I'll ever be.
Let's do it.
Which is not very ready.
What a morning.
Where do you reckon we should start?
Mate, it's calamari and it's everywhere. So I reckon we pick a spot and have a go.
Do you think there's potential that there could be a couple in that area?
I feel like that's a popular spot.
It looks like it's a popular spot, but that's my secret spot on the GPS.
Not anymore.
No. Do you want to start out here or going closer?
I reckon we have a try out in deep.
Yep. Yep.
Let's see how we go.
Yeah, all right. Let's grab our weapons, bud. Hey, Luke. You know how I'm like super organised in fishing?
Oh God.
There's one thing in fishing that I'm not. So, see, look at that, carefully organised.
This is how not to store lures or jigs or anything.
No, what's wrong with that?
Wow. I don't know where to start with that.
It's like a jewellery box, only messy.
Oh God.
What are we going to do? So we'll put a couple of drifters out?
I think so, and we'll soon get a bit of a pattern with what colours are working, and I think now's the time we just sort of mix it up and try all sorts of different shades and patterns and foil colours, and we'll see what happens.
What are you going to start with on the
I'm going to start with a darker jig, but it's got a nice red foil. These are one of the Rui jigs. They're really impressive colours, so I'm going to go with this one and see how we go.
All right, well I'll go, maybe I'll put a white. That one's caught a couple. It's had a bit of a tough life, but I'm going to go a bright one.
Yeah, good call.
I'll go a bright green, and then we'll just chuck a couple out. The other one I have got, hand lines, silver whiting on the spike.
Great call.
Cool. Let's just load up and start, bud.
Let's do it.
All right, super simple system. Hand line with heavy line on it, big bobby cork. Got a float stop there so we can adjust the depth of the float or the bait, and the idea is you want it down near the bottom because that's where the squid live. But what I like to do is have that swivel there and it's got a clip on it. Because we've got a bit of tide, I can now just clip a bomb sinker onto that, and you can obviously change the weight as you need to or take it off. The whole idea is use a big bobby cork, because when the squid grabs the bait and pulls that float under, that's what hooks him. And then get ourselves a silver whiting. I like to rig them that way rather than that way. So I'll feed that up through the bait. And then I'll just hook that clip. And we are bait fishing a squid. Not very big, Luke, but...
So I'm going to cast over you.
Yeah, go for it. Cast over, mate. Straight there. And what we're talking about here is that you'll often have multiple squid in an area, and it really pays that if you get one that your mate, which Luke's not, you get him to cast straight in behind where you've hooked up, and you'll often get another one. There we go. Ready? This one's pretty... Oh! Look at that. Got him?
Yep. And that is just because I cast straight over Lee's squid. Bit of cheating, but it works so well.
The other thing is, it's all about the cast, Luke. And what I did, whoa. What I did on that cast is I just very carefully lobbed it as high as I could like that. So it's all about the hang time on the jig.
It's not a bad one actually.
Is it all right? Yeah, that's good.
I might get you to grab him, I'll bring him down the back. And if I point him at you, it makes me feel better.
Yeah, thanks. There you go, and that's all you got to do. Grab them back here, point them out to sea, and then you don't end up with a complete mess in the boat. That's a nice squid, but on the scale of it, not what we're after.
Not yet.
thing I love about squid fishing is you can do it with a hand line. We've got a couple of hand lines out there at the moment, Luke.
Yep.
And you can have really fancy gear like you've got there, the Cephia BB, Vanford 2500, and I've got one of the Quickfire squid rods, which is exclusive to Anaconda and just a Stratic on it, but you can have a whatever rod and reel you want, really, can't you?
Absolutely, and squid fishing is one of the things around the country that everyone likes to do.
Yep.
Whether you're an advanced sort of angler or you're just getting into it and the kids are getting into it, you don't have to spend a fortune.
100%.
You can really keep it simple, and to be honest, keeping it simple half the time is more beneficial than not anyway when it comes to this sort of fishing. So yeah, there's loads of gear you can get at all different, you know, levels of price points, so you don't have to go overboard, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Would you say, Luke, that it's probably, and I always encourage people, for kids, squid fishing is amazing because kids want to cast and they just want to wind, and that's how I got my two girls into it, because they could just cast and wind, and then eventually they just like, oh, I've got something.
And guess what squid fishing is? Casting and winding.
It is casting and winding.
That's exactly right,
Yep.
It's perfect.
Good basic fishing, boat, land-based, doesn't matter.
Oh, you on there, Lee?
I am, the sneaky one out the back.
Okay.
What's interesting, Bud, we're sitting in 8 odd metres of water here. We're on the electric on anchor.
Yep.
This jig is nowhere near the bottom.
It's an interesting point.
Caught us a good one. I've got a jig down there on a sinker to get it close to the bottom, and this one's done the job. Yeah, I'll go this side of you and then you can grab it.
Oh, you want me to do the dirty work?
Yeah, for sure. Literally, the dirty work.
Because we often think that it's all got to be on the bottom.
Yeah. Is he all right?
He's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, he'll do. That was on that bright pink.
Very bright pink jig, but that's one of the Rui jigs.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about that is it's got that UV sort of whitey belly, but it's got that bright sort of pink to it, that contrast.
That's worked well, mate.
Cool. Let's try another one.
Righto, looks good.
People may be wondering what makes an Iggy or a squid rod. First of all, they're generally longer in length. This Quickfire one is only 7'6". Luke's one is over 8 foot long. The idea of that is because over in Japan where squid fishing is huge, it's all land-based. And the long rod helps you to cast further, but it also serves a purpose with the squid jig. Squid rods have a longer, softer taper, A, for fighting the squid, but also for casting and working the jig. And when it comes to casting a squid jig, because they're a big, bulky piece of gear like this, they're not overly aerodynamic. Rather than doing a snappy little cast, and look, you can use your little 7 foot or 6'6" plastics rod if you want. We've got a couple here with the jigs drifting on them. But when it comes to casting and getting distance with a squid jig, I like to have it, you know, around that stripper guide sort of distance off the rod tip. And then we don't do a snap cast. I'll just come back and do a nice big sort of long pendulum cast like that. Probably shoot that jig a bit higher because we're going for distance. And that's where these rods really come into their own. But then the next step of it is that once that jig sinks down and you want to work that jig, when you work it correctly, it'll zigzag left and right. So by just going like that and the rod being softer, it sort of just does that through the water with the jig. Rather than ripping it, it actually allows the jig to get a little bit of speed, and then it will sort of zigzag left and right. And that is the concept of a squid jig rod. But as I said, you can use any rod that you like for squid fishing, and that's the great thing about it.
Not a great deal of weight, Lee, but there's one that's taken the bait.
I do like it when the float goes under with the bait, because there's every chance it's that next level of squid.
That's true, that's true. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the whopper that we're after, but hey.
Anyway, it's still another one.
Yeah. It's getting a little bit bigger as he comes a bit closer.
Yeah, and that one there, so I just adjusted the float stopper. We're in sort of 10 to 11 metres of water, so I adjusted that float stopper down to 8 metres, so it put that bait within, you know, sort of that 2 to 3 of the bottom being that perfect sort of depth. And that's the bonus to people, you know, using this float stopper. You can just adjust it. Oh, it's growing.
It's getting
growing. See, that's lucky, because if that was me with the hand line, right now that line would have flicked up around my head or something. I am hopeless with the hand line.
It's hit a stubborn spot and it doesn't want to come any further. I haven't had much help from you at all today, so...
Nah, I'm busy holding your other fishing rod. Oh, he's all right.
He's not too bad.
You see Luke's just going to reach in and grab him.
Now, he's not a bad one at all, actually.
Oh, that's better.
I probably underestimated as he was coming towards the boat.
Yeah, nice one, bud.
And he, had a good hold of that.
Oh, it's good we've still got that bait.
Didn't even eat the bait.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a nice one,
That's
mate.
not
Well
bad
done.
at all, yeah.
I'll grab my phone and get a quick photo.
Putting water all over your boat. You're right though, the baits tend to get bigger models.
And especially on the days when they're quiet. Today, they've been a bit quiet, so. When it comes to choosing squid jigs, it's a personal choice. Bright, dark, it's up to you. I do like my dark colours down in these clean ocean areas where you've got that heavy kelpie weed, because there's like little shrimp and stuff that live in the weed that are dark in colour, but also dark colours like blacks and reds give a really good silhouette. So squid laying on the bottom looking above, as that goes over him, you might not see the exact, detail of the jig, but he'll get that really nice silhouette of it. But then saying that, some days it's all about the bright colours, but I'm gonna, I think, go with something like that guy there. It's got a rattle in it, that's a Cephia jig, and it's got two things I like, black and red, bit of sort of yellowy gold. It's all looking good. It's been chewed a fair bit. Hey Luke, what are your thoughts on a squid jig? The more squid you catch, the better they seem to work.
After they've been chewed up a little bit, I do agree. I think sometimes maybe the cloth and the fabric that is on the jig, once it gets a bit scuffed up, it opens up, the foil a bit more, and
and it gives the squid a point to aim for, I reckon. So, and that's why you look at some of the jigs, they're just well chewed, but they keep getting chewed in the same spots. The fact that it gets chewed up, it's not always a bad thing.
No.
So, let's see how quick I can lose this. He's not overly big, mate. He's just sort of there towards that other boat. Go for it. There we go. They haven't been easy today, Luke.
No.
But we've still scratched together. Look at that. And that's right where you want to hook them, up in the top of the hood there. It's a bit harder. You don't tend to rip the prongs out. And now, mate, the quest was the monster squid.
Giant squid.
You failed. So did I. But what do you reckon we get back out sometime soon, and it's just about finding that?
I think so. I mean, there's some healthy squid here. We picked up a couple of nice ones, but there are some monsters out here, and I think it's going to bring us out another time.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of other places we can go to. We might do the next run in Western Port.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Anyway, let's try and get a couple more.